Namaste, everyone, and thank you so much for joining me for another wonderful episode of Your Pleasure Incorporated into Daily Living. I'm your host, Ellen Nicholas Rathbone, sensuality consultant, life coach, and I do have my certification in personal training. Today, I want to talk about one of my favorite subjects, which is exercising for better sex. I mean, everybody is starting off the year. They want to put their best foot forward. They want to be strong. They want to be healthy. And one of the best reasons for staying healthy and strong is to have a dynamic and exciting sex life. Because if you've got energy, endurance, flexibility, you have all the makings for enjoying a quality sex life. So I'm not going to have this conversation all by myself today. I've invited one of my favorite, most wonderful personal trainer friends, Mike Horvath, who is going to join me in just a minute to have this discussion about what we can do on a daily basis to strengthen up our body and so that we can have better quality sexual relations. So with that, let me bring Mike on. There he is. Hey,
Hello,
Mike.
everyone.
How's it going?
Doing
Nice
well.
to see you.
You as well. It's been a while for
Happy
sure.
New Year. Happy New Year.
Happy and healthy to you.
Yes,
and
right
sexually
to you.
and sexually healthy.
Yes. So
While we're on the subject,
I think that one of the things about having a healthy body is that you have mentally, it gives you a whole lot more confidence.
absolutely.
In your, not only in just your appearance, but in your confidence to execute, we'll say, certain things. I mean, you have to be a strong guy to be able to handle different positions, and I think that flexibility is really important, as
Absolutely.
is aerobic capacity and endurance. So
those are top tier right there.
right, top tier. That's right. And I think that there's nothing that you're going to find in a pill bottle that is going to replace the sweat equity that a person should pay into their body on a regular basis to have that health and that ability. Okay. So now the first thing I want to say is, why would you think the best reason to exercise would be in today's society of convenience? What do you think would be the most important reasons for people to take care of their bodies for a better sexual experience?
Well, honestly, the most important thing would just be like the better quality of life and that sexual experience. Having that better quality of life being not so much like crazy in shape, 6-pack abs, stuff like that. Hold on, I'm on the phone.
Thanks
I gotta talk.
all these dinners. I'm leaving.
Sorry, my brother.
Thanks.
See you later.
I'll see you later. Bye.
Sorry.
That's okay.
So, in order to be, where was I there? So, not so much like 6-pack abs. I need to be shredded, anything like that. It's all about what you think is physically fit.
Right.
And I think not only is it giving you the confidence to appear looking good, but also having that intimate time with your partner. It not only makes you feel more confident that you, let's say, gave them an orgasm or gave them something that they haven't done in a long time, but you need to be physically fit in order to do stuff like that. So not only boost your confidence physically, but mentally, cognitively, you can benefit from exercise and sex, and it can help your cognitive function as well. So as we get older, that cognitive function seems to decline unless we do something about it. So that could be exercise, it could be reading, it could be meditating, yoga, stretching, whatever it may be, just to kind of keep the mind guessing and going.
Right.
And that's what I think would be the most beneficial reason to want to get into something like that.
Right. I think that there's a couple of exercises that I personally think are seriously important. One of them is Kegels.
Yeah.
And, Kegels,
tell me about those.
For men and for women. For women is to have greater grip, also to have a stronger pelvic floor. And for men is to have control over their ejaculate. But, and as you get older, it's really a good idea to have control in all these areas. But I believe that if you have a strong what is it, global muscular system? Is it the
Sure.
global or the local? Global, right?
You can call it global because it would entail everything: central nervous system. It would entail like your accessory muscles and those main muscle groups that we learn about. So you can classify it as that. I would say that's
Right. So a
about
strong
right.
foundation there
Mhm.
can help with the rest of your system, because you can't
Of course.
see those muscles. You can't
Mhm.
see your pelvic floor, right?
Mhm.
But it's definitely something that's really important to strengthen on a daily
Mhm.
basis. And this is a kind of an exercise that really doesn't need, you don't need equipment for this. You just need to be mindful to do it on a
Mhm.
regular basis,
Of
right?
course. And you can do that sitting on your couch watching TV, no?
Right. Absolutely. Or sitting in traffic. That's what I
Right?
tell people all the time. Every time you
Yeah.
stop at a red light,
Mhm.
knock out as many Kegels as you can before the
You
light
might as well make
changes.
the best of your times. You might be there
That's
for a while.
exactly right. I hate waiting. So if I'm waiting in a line, waiting at a
Yep.
light, wherever I'm waiting, I'm going to be doing my Kegels.
That's
the
a good
whole
idea.
time.
After you teach me how to do it, I might start doing that at red lights.
Okay.
We're gonna pull up next to each other at a red light and look at each other, and we'll know what's going on.
I know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So also sex can be very aerobic. I
Of
mean,
course, absolutely.
if it's like vigorous
Mhm.
sexual activity can be pretty aerobic.
Uh-huh.
And if you have a good, strong heart,
Mhm.
then you're able to have a very feisty, exciting sex life. But
Of
if
course.
you allow your aerobic capacity to slide down and, to kind of go to nothing, then you're going to be kind of lumping your way through life, just kind
Right.
of like, uh, so it's really,
A,
really important to
a
keep
thing with
that.
like heart health. The heart health. Sorry to cut you off, and I mean to, but
No,
I
no,
well
go ahead.
remember. A good thing with heart health is we hear all the time that heart health is very important because 1 in 4 Americans, or people in the world, essentially will die of a heart condition, and that's not what we want. We want to avoid that. So if we
Right.
can strengthen our heart while doing something other than running on a treadmill, I would say if you can take it to the bedroom, that might be a better way to strengthen the heart, and you can knock out 2 birds with 1 stone. Live a longer life and live a happier life by
Absolutely.
taking care of your heart, because the heart's important. Your aerobic capacity is extremely important. Cardiovascular, and your heart is also a muscle.
Right.
So you have to think about working our lungs, our heart, and our blood flow, especially
Right.
for us guys.
Right. No, absolutely. Very, very important.
Mm-hmm.
I read that your aerobic capacity declines 15%
Yep, something like
every
that.
decade,
Mm-hmm.
and
That's a lot.
yeah, it really
That is a
is.
lot.
And then it just keeps declining until you're no longer among the living. So, I tell
And
this to
you
people.
can delay that by taking steps to combat that. Essentially,
Absolutely. Yeah. The
going to the
human
gym and
animal is the only species that actually can reverse the aging process. So if
isn't it?
you actively work against
Yep.
this decline, you can maintain a certain
Mm-hmm.
level of fitness into your 50s and 60s and even 70s and beyond, as long as you are consistent with your effort. Is
Right.
that not true?
I don't. That's absolutely true. Just an example is my dad is 75, my mom's 65. I don't want to imagine them doing anything, but they've definitely been keeping themselves at least for like what they can do. My dad's 75, still goes around working. He goes up and down the stairs just to get his exercise in. He comes and sees my mom all the time. They're still married. They still love each other very much, but they just don't live together. My dad said he figured out the secret to a happy marriage is don't live together, and I've never seen them happier. But they go out more on dates and stuff like that, and I see them more like just joyful around each other too. So they're taking steps to combat their aging process essentially. My dad's been teaching himself Spanish for the last 5 years, and he's as white as they come, and it's pretty funny. But he's teaching himself Spanish to keep his mind occupied. He's walking up down the stairs just to keep his legs going, because the legs are going to produce a lot of testosterone as us men get older. That's going to decline about 10% every couple of years. I think it's something like that. So working those big muscle groups to get the testosterone flowing is going to help also with heart health, skeletal muscle, just basically everything.
Right.
So
And how important is
active.
flexibility too?
I would say if you can't be flexible, you're gonna hurt yourself, and you're not gonna be able to have that fun in the bedroom.
That's
So
right.
I have always said, even with younger people I work with that are just strength training. Flexibility is probably one of the most important on top of strength training and cardiovascular. It's not just one thing or the other. It's just a conglomerate of everything.
Right.
And that
I think
includes
this is
everything.
where having a personal trainer is extremely important, I
Mhm.
believe, because they're there to guide you and to make sure you're doing the exercises correctly and to make sure you get an overall program of warming up properly,
Mhm.
the exercises for your specific body and what
Absolutely.
your goals are,
Mhm.
and then also to cool down and stretch out properly so that you don't have a buildup of lactic acid, which would cause you great
A
discomfort, we'll
lot of
say, the
discomfort
next
for sure.
day.
For sure.
Hmm?
A lot of discomfort for sure.
Right. You could be a seasoned exerciser, and if you do not
Mhm.
release the lactic acid when you're
Yep.
done with your workout, you're hurting for no reason.
Well,
So,
yeah, just me, I've been working out for 10 years, maybe longer. Actually, way longer, about 15 years since I joined the military about 12 years ago. And I stopped working out because I hurt my back again. So I stopped working out for a couple months and I started again. And that first day, I felt like I couldn't walk. And I was like, why the hell am I hurting? And it's because I didn't stretch. And I'm a personal trainer. So I forgot. And I was like, oh, la-di-da, I'm going to go on my way. I'm good. And then the next day I woke up not so good. So it takes, you don't have to do it for 30 minutes. Like just a few things, just to do something.
right.
A lot of people think they need to go like balls to the walls, if you will, on every single thing they do. But just doing a little something slowly and to get you up to that balls to the walls level is the best way to go about it, I think.
Right.
Slow and steady wins the race. It's a marathon, not a sprint.
Right.
You want to be here for a long time and a
All
good
right.
time.
So now, what kind of exercises would you recommend for a person who's just starting out? And how many sets? Like, do you think squats are a good idea?
Absolutely.
And would you recommend that a person does, say, the squats like 3 sets of 8 without weight, and then slowly build up? Like, what would you recommend?
So it's a loaded question, so I'm going to give you a little bit of a loaded answer. It all really
Okay.
depends on the person's fitness level and everything like that as well. So I think squats are fantastic. There's 6 basic movements that the body needs to go through, and you do them every single day and you don't realize it. So it's a squat, a lunge, a press, like a chest press, a pull, a horizontal pull, vertical pull, and then an abdominal twist.
Okay.
So those are the 6 there. So I recommend squat all the time to everybody. I don't care. I think squat's great. And you could start without weight. You can start with weight. I always recommend starting with something in the front, like a goblet squat or a front squat, because that's going to help. That's going to get knocked out 2 birds with one stone. So it's going to help your core. It's always going to help your legs. But if you feel like the weight's too much, do it without. And I always recommend people starting off anywhere from 2 to 3 sets, anywhere like 10 to 12 reps. And I would recommend your duration of exercising if you're just starting, anywhere from 30 to 45 minutes. I wouldn't go crazy if it's your first time.
Right.
Like your intermediates, I would say you could probably get away with doing like a back squat. You can do like hold it on your sides. This could even go for like a beginner. Hold the weight on your sides. Resistance bands are also great for intermediates. So then the beginners going to intermediates and stuff like that. And I would recommend 3 to 4 sets. Same thing, about anywhere from 8 to 15 reps. And then if you've been exercising for a long time, kind of just go at your own pace. You can kind of mix and match all the ones that you've learned. And anywhere from 3 to 5 sets, anywhere from 6 to 15 reps. I always play with my rep ranges. You never want to do the same exact thing over and over again.
Right.
Because your body's always trying to find ways to be more efficient at doing what it's always doing.
Right.
So if you're constantly doing the same thing over and over again, your body's going to get used to it, and it's going to learn how to use less energy. So you got to keep shocking the body.
Right.
And just kind of keep putting it through that ringer almost. And if you're feeling like it's getting easier, increase something, whether that's your weight, whether that's your rep ranges, whether that's your amount of sets, whether that's the rest time, whether there's more or less. So there's a bunch of things that you can manipulate in order to get that same outcome by not having to change too much. Like if I'm doing squats, like I can do them at my house. I have a set of resistance bands I got at Amazon for $17 that I use constantly. My son is 9 months old tomorrow, and I'm my daughter's, so if I have the 3 of them, yeah, I have a gym in my basement, but sometimes it's hard to get all 3 of them down there and worry about a weight hitting them in the head.
Right.
So I'll just sit in front of my TV and I'll watch some TV while they're playing, or I'm playing with them and they'll jump in with me and exercise. I just pull the resistance bands and do some basic exercise. As long as I'm moving, I feel like that's the best thing to do. You don't have to say like, oh, well, I'm not squatting 600 pounds anymore.
Right.
I'm a failure. No, who cares? It's about
Right.
you.
Right.
And
How many
nobody can see
times
me
a
in
week?
my room.
How many times a week? Like I really believe consistency is key.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And 3 times a week. This is what I heard, but you correct me if I'm wrong.
I would say
3
that's about
times
right.
a week. I'm sorry?
I would probably agree with you. I would say if you're just starting off, I would say anywhere from 2 to 4 times a week.
Okay.
I would start on the lower end if you're just starting out, like 2 to 3. 3 is ideal. Like a
Right.
Monday, Wednesday, Friday, just kind of get you in that perpetual motion of I'm doing it this day, this day, this day. I'm resting these 2. Boom, boom, boom. Having fun on the weekend, whatever it may be.
Okay.
Again, because you want to not restrict yourself to just like, I have to work out, but don't forget that you have to work out.
Right.
Enjoy your life, but also find ways to incorporate it. Because, like I said earlier, those 6 basic movements your body does, you're doing them every day. So
Right.
if, like earlier, I was cooking. I'm constantly pulling the pots off the thing. Like, you have to think about that. Like, you're doing it all day long. So if you're cooking for your whole family, like I have a big family, so I cooked for, my brother walked in earlier. There's about 6 of us here tonight. I made a bunch of food for everybody. And you're squatting down to get under, grab new pans and stuff like that. So if you're more efficient at doing that with weight on you, you can do that like it's a breeze and not feel winded or anything like that if you're cooking for basic, even getting in the bathtub, the shower, brushing your teeth, just random things you don't think about. You do exercise movements.
Right. Our world is full of convenience.
Mhm.
And what happens, I think, is that the signal that we send to our body, if we're not requiring it to be strong,
Yep.
is that I don't need these muscles.
Right.
And over a period of time, the body goes, okay, you don't need me, fine. And it starts to wash away. It gets replaced by a level of a layer, I should say, of fat. And the next thing you know, your bones are weaker. You don't have a muscle mass. You can't stand up straight. You've got this fat that won't leave. So especially in this world of convenience, it's really important to do something consistently
Absolutely.
to keep those muscles. And then when you're doing this, then when you are having sexual relations with your partner, you are confident that you have the aerobic capacity. You can't, it's not like, it can't be like, I can't run a mile, but one day I'm just going to run a mile. No, by the time you finish running that mile, you could just easily drop dead. So to make sure that you have the aerobic capacity that you need to enjoy your life, whatever whatever you're doing. Whether it's sexual activity or just, taking a hike in the woods, it's really important to maintain that level of fitness.
And your body will, like you said, when it gets rid of those muscles, it gets rid of them quicker than you make them. So if you're making those muscles and you're at a pretty good thing, like let's say like now for me, I'm 33 years old. Like I'm not like the oldest guy in the world, but I got up to a certain spot, then I hurt my back and I started working out again, and I like halved all my weight. So it goes away quick, and you want to kind of like just stay on top of it, and I'm like just doing something to remind your body, hey, I still need those. And like you said, like you want to have that confidence you're going to go in and be able to have that aerobic capacity, because if you're sitting there second guessing yourself, I know like for us guys, if we get in our own heads, that thing our little head ain't going to work too good, so it's all about having that confidence, because if you come in there confident, cool, and your partner, whether it's male or female, in both ways, if you both have that confidence, you're going to have yourself a good time.
Right. It's true that that quality sexual relations also release all kinds of phenomenal hormones,
Absolutely,
like endorphins.
Yep.
And for people who are in this world looking for, pleasure, the human body can produce the most phenomenal pleasure, but it will disappoint you if you do not give it what it needs.
Absolutely.
And you will be more frustrated than if you tried nothing. So again, this is an investment in self, to do something on a consistent basis, to stay strong, to stay flexible, and have aerobic capacity so that you have endurance as well. These are not things that just happen automatically.
No.
Maybe when you're 5, 6, 10 years old, you've got all that. But when you're hit 35, 40, 45, 50, you're in a downward slide unless you have arrested those declines.
And the more you move, the slower that'll be.
Yeah, you've got to actively work in the opposite direction so that your body will not fail you when you need it most.
Of course, yeah, that's perfectly said. Like I was going to try to add to it, but I'm not going to beat a dead horse.
Thanks, Mike.
That was good. Just stay on top of things. Keep moving. Moving is the best.
Yeah,
that's any kind of movement, and that's going to translate to every aspect of your life.
Absolutely. If you can take the steps, you should take the steps.
Of course.
If you can walk to your destination, you should walk to your destination.
So I take when it's not 8 degrees outside, I take my bike all over town if I need to get stuff. If I'm going grocery shopping, the grocery store's out 3 miles. I'll ride my bike there, throw in my backpack, and I'll haul ass back home so my milk doesn't go bad. Just to keep moving,
No, I totally agree. I love riding my bicycle all over town. If it's within a 5 mile radius.
You're an avid biker.
I am an avid biker. Yeah. Yes, I am. And
look, you look younger than I do, and I'm only 33.
You're such a sweetie. That's why I love talking to you. But
the only reason I'm invited to the show.
That's right. That's right. Because I like a nice compliment every now and then.
Right. Who doesn't?
I think that we have to really be very mindful of the fact that our society wants to keep us sitting in front of whatever, sitting in front of a TV, sitting in front of a computer, sitting for the most part. And the most important thing, if you don't want to lose the abilities that your body has, is to use your body, not to be afraid of lifting the weight, not to be afraid of the steps, not to be afraid of, exerting yourself and doing it actively on a regular basis, because it's just too easy to lose it. I see people all the time that are my age and even younger that have all kinds of medical issues just through neglect. It's through neglect. And how important it is to keep a certain sense of balance in your body, to have a nice, strong core so that, again, sexual pleasure notwithstanding, that you have a core that, when your core is strong, all of your other bodily movements are easier if
like
you have a strong core. Is that
good
not
foundation?
True?
Good foundation is going to be the most important. Let's think about your house. If your house doesn't have a good foundation, it's going to fall down. You know?
Right.
And it is say if you don't use it, you lose it. And if you're not taking care of that foundation, you're not doing its inspections, let's call them, and it's not going to work for you to get into intercourse and have that euphoria flow through your body of having that fun, good time. Because I don't know about you guys, but I like to have orgasms all the time. So if we're gonna keep those endorphins up, like you said, it's like better than drugs.
Absolutely.
So
oh my
why
goodness.
Why would you not do a natural remedy of just doing 30, 40 minutes every other day of something, so you and your partner can enjoy the rest of your lives, not only with each other, but sexually as well, intimate.
Right.
And that will translate to your outside relationship too, because I feel like couples that are intimate with each other, that translates to the romantic part and everything like that.
Right.
So
it's Fitness Magazine says that certain positions can work your muscle groups and substitute as a gym workout.
Now
According to the magazine, you can actually work your abs, glutes, quadriceps, biceps, triceps, hamstrings, and calves in different sexual activity. And I'm not saying that people should have sex every day, because it loses some of its excitement if it's an everyday kind of a thing.
Right.
But if you want to make sure that when the time comes that you are, no pun intended, when the time comes that you want to be
I missed
there
that
for
one.
your
You pointed it out. That's good.
that you have strengthened all of these areas and you can rely on them to help you through. And that, to me, is the most important thing, that you can trust your body because you've given it what it needs to maintain a level of strength, endurance, flexibility, and aerobic capacity. And
You take
that's
care of
what
your body,
comes.
it'll take care of you.
Exactly right. Exactly right. I always love talking to you, Mike.
Oh yeah,
It's
so
always so much
every
fun.
time we get talking, we used to talk when we worked together. But you and I'd be like in the middle of the floor talking for like 2 hours.
I know.
Like, oh wait, we have work to do.
I know.
I forgot this
I
place
miss
was
you
here.
terribly. I miss you terribly. We'll have to do this again.
For
Okay?
sure, for sure.
All right.
Absolutely.
And I just want to thank you so much for
Oh, my pleasure.
joining me
Anytime.
for this talk.
Well, it's funny that you texted me today because I think it was Sunday or Monday. My girlfriend said to me, she goes, "What about that podcast you used to be on all the time? What's going on with that?" I was like, "Oh, I'm sure Ellen still does it." I was like, "I haven't talked to her in forever. I wonder how she's doing." I meant to text her, and then I space cadetted like I usually do. And then you texted me today, and I was like, "Holy shit! I was just thinking about that." So I texted my girlfriend. I was like, "Guess what I'm doing tonight?"
Wonderful.
The universe, and it came back to us.
Hey, listen, you've been on my mind, and I said, you know, if anybody's going to be able to have a great conversation about this, a person who is physically fit, you are physically fit, and you are a person who's not embarrassed about the subject of sensuality. So to have you as a guest is always a real treat.
No,
I
get excited when you ask me. I feel like I'm like really important. I'm like, holy shit, yes, of course.
You're important to me.
Hey,
I want
that's
to
all
thank you so much for being
anytime.
here.
Anytime.
And we'll be in touch and we'll talk again. Okay.
Sure. I'm gonna go put the kiddos to bed, but text me again, and maybe tomorrow something we can get together, get a phone call or whatever, and we can figure something out.
All right.
But I really appreciate you having me. Really appreciate having me. I hope everybody listening had some fun too, and I look forward to the next meeting.
Right back at you, Mike. Thank you.
All right, cool. Thank you again. Great to see you.
All right, great to see you too. Take care.
Have a good one.
Thank you for joining me for this episode of Your Pleasure Incorporated into Daily Living. The whole premise of this show is to encourage you to love yourself on a daily basis, to take care of that body, especially in this world of convenience. It's just too easy to allow your body to slip into complacency, to not take care of yourself. And then there are so many things that can go wrong, and you can never, ever fix your body back to its perfection of when it was young and healthy, with medications, with surgery, with any of that stuff. So it's better to prevent problems and to enjoy a vibrant, healthy, wonderful life, including a delicious and vigorous sex life, but only if you're taking good care of yourself. So I hope that this was a little bit of motivation to climb the steps, to lift the things that are heavy, using your legs, of course, most definitely to do your Kegel exercises. Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Your Pleasure Incorporated into Daily Living. I look forward to speaking with you again next week for another episode.